Hello again and welcome to your new class, class number 63. Are you ready? Class number 63. Remember, this book, the translation booklet, the vocabulary booklet, and the Inglés en TV, en televisión española. Esto es la Biblia. Esto es lo que estoy siguiendo. And today we are, aquí tienes para comprar. Cómpralos y sígueme bien. Today we're on page 94, unit 10. Point 17. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? Today we're going to start meeting, proper meeting. Introducciones, presentaciones, formales, yeah. We'll start with Philip Johnson. Are you ready? Are you ready? Really? Well, roll up your sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves because I work better when I roll up my sleeves. And I recommend you roll up your sleeves. Okay, manos a la obra. Let's get down to work. Philip Johnson. Philip Johnson. Yes, sir. Philip Johnson. Bueno, vamos a poner esto. Ready? Philip Johnson is 39 years old. Ahora voy a presentar muchos verbos en el presente habitual, presente simple, simple present, acciones habituales, conceptos, etc. Vive, trabaja, a lo mejor no está trabajando ahora, a lo mejor está en casa o en fin de semana, pero en general trabaja, eso es el presente habitual. Yo no trabajo en esta habitación, excepto 1 hora por día, pero ahora estoy trabajando en esta habitación. Presente continuo, presente habitual. Trabajo en un despacho cerca de aquí. I work in an office near here. But I'm not working in my office now. I'm working here. I'm speaking to you. I speak to you every day. Te hablo o hablo contigo todos los días. Y de hecho estoy hablando contigo ahora. Entonces, en inglés se diferencia. En español no. Bueno, se diferencia, pero no es necesario diferenciarse. Por ejemplo, hablo contigo a diario y ahora mismo hablo contigo. En inglés no se puede hacer esto. Hablo contigo todos los días y ahora mismo estoy hablando. Hay que usar lo que se llama el presente continuo. Pero aquí empezamos con el presente simple. The simple present, presente habitual suelo decir en inglés, para acciones habituales. So, Philip Johnson, introductions, presentaciones. Philip Johnson is 39 years old. He's married. He's married and has 2 children. He lives. Él vive. I live. You live. He lives. He lives. He lives. Creo que le tienes aquí, ¿eh? Tienes los libros aquí y tienes nuestro amigo Philip here aquí. He lives. Que suena la S. Incluso para mis amigos andaluces. Como Marta, ¿eh? La S. Si no. All right. He lives in a nice house. Una casa maja, una casa agradable, una buena casa. He lives in a nice house in Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska es la capital, por cierto. In Lincoln, Nebraska. He's a businessman. He is a businessman. Hombre de negocios. And he works, con la S famosa otra vez, and he works in a bank in the center of Lincoln. He goes to work every day. He goes, en coche, creo. He goes to work every day. Por cierto, he's the general manager of the bank. Nuestro amigo. Es el director general del banco, no está mal, pero es un banco local, de Nebraska. He's the general manager of the bank. He goes to work every day at 8:30 in the morning. He gets to the office at 9 o'clock. He goes to work at 8:30 and he gets to the office. He gets to the office. To get, claro, to get es un verbo que asusta a la gente aquí, porque tiene tantos usos y significados y aplicaciones. Pero uno de los más importantes es llegar a, to get to. to get to the office, to get to the studio, etc. Y no ponemos to cuando es to get home. Llegar a casa es to get home. También llegar aquí o llegar ahí. To get here, to get there. Llegar ahí. Pero los demás casos creo, me falta una excepción, no me acuerdo. But to get to, se usa mucho más que arrive, que es llegar. Arrive, arribar. To arrive, se usa mucho más get. So, he gets to the office at 9 o'clock. He parks, he parks his car under the bank in the parking garage. Parking garage. Garage. Garaje. Garage. Se escribe igual. Bueno, en español que es con J al final. Son dos Gs en inglés. Garaje. Garage. Los británicos dicen garage. They stress the first syllable. Garage. The Americans, garage. Garage. Parking garage. Es un aparcamiento subterráneo. En este caso, debajo del banco. Los británicos dirían car park, simplemente, sin especificar aire libre o garaje o subterráneo. Car park. Puesto que estamos en Nebraska, American English. So, he parks his car, my car no, he parks his car under the bank in the parking garage. In the morning, he usually works from 9 to 12:30. In the morning, he usually works. Esta palabra usually, o sea, literalmente, usualmente, o sea, la expresión usualmente se usa poco en español. Se dice normalmente, generalmente, en general o suele. O sea, suele trabajar 3 horas por la mañana. He usually, es un sonido de SH vibrada, como en francés, je suis, je sais, o con los argentinos, yo quiero, yo, usually. Usually, se usa mucho usually. Donde en español se dice suele, o solía. Yo solía ir a la playa en los años 80, pero a veces iba a la montaña. I usually went. Suelo ir a la playa, hoy en día suelo ir a la montaña. Now I usually go, etc. So, he usually works, in the morning, he usually works from 9 to 12:30. He spends a lot of time. To spend es gastar dinero, pero también dedicar tiempo o pasar tiempo. Pasa mucho tiempo. He spends a lot of time talking on the telephone. Hablando por teléfono. Talking. La L de talk es muda. Talking. Como caminar, walking. Talking and walking. Hablando y hablando. Talking and walking. He spends, con ese de nuevo, he spends a lot of time talking on the telephone and reading financial reports. Reading financial reports. Reportes, informes financieros de números. Reading financial reports. He usually, de nuevo, nuestro amigo usually, he usually has lunch near the office or near his office. There are many good restaurants. There are a lot of good restaurants. There are many. Hay muchos. There are many good restaurants in the center of Lincoln. He goes back to the office at 1:30, at 1:30, and stays there. To stay, permanece ahí, se queda. He goes back to the office at 1:30 and stays there until 6. So he goes back to the office after lunch at 1:30 and stays there until 6. After work, después del trabajo se dice en español, pero después, after work, así, bam. After work, he usually goes home. Va a casa. Yankee, go home, se dice. Yeah, but go home. Tercera persona singular, goes home. After work, he usually goes home But sometimes, cerrando la boca con las dos M's, but sometimes he goes to his son's school. Al colegio de su hijo. Sometimes he goes to his son's school to watch him play, to watch him play baseball, basketball, baseball or basketball. También el chico juega fútbol también, americano, pero no lo dice aquí. He usually gets home from work at 6:30. He usually gets home, to get to work, to get home. He usually gets home at 6:30. But when he goes to see his son, he gets home around 8 or 8 o'clock. He likes his job. He likes his job. Le gusta su trabajo. He likes his job. I like, sin ese, I like my job. You like your job. Marta likes her job. And Philip, he likes his job because he has a good salary. No está mal. He has a good salary, and because he works with a lot of interesting people. He likes his job because he has a good salary. Le pagan bien, eh? He has a good salary, and he works with a lot of interesting people. Yes. He doesn't travel. Ahora travel no lleva la S de tercera persona singular porque el auxiliar doesn't tiene la S ahí. I don't, he doesn't. I don't travel, he doesn't travel. He doesn't travel, well, he likes his job. Fine. He doesn't travel very much or very often. Often is a menudo. No viaja muy a menudo. He doesn't travel very often in his job, but from time to time, de vez en cuando, de cuando en cuando, from time to time, he needs to go. Necesita ir. He needs to go to Omaha. Omaha es un nombre indio, pero es una ciudad muy importante. Es donde vive Warren Buffett, el cuarto hombre más rico del mundo. Vive en Omaha. Omaha, creo que se dice aquí, pero es Omaha. Yes, but from time to time, he needs to go to Omaha, a city 150 miles from Lincoln. 150 miles from Lincoln. When he goes to Omaha, when he goes to Omaha, he usually comes back on the same day. If he goes on Tuesday morning, he goes back on Tuesday evening. So he usually goes back to Lincoln or comes back, como si estuviéramos en Lincoln, viene de nuevo. He comes back to Lincoln on the same day, but sometimes, lo voy a decir rápido, pero mira mi boca. Sometimes. Mira como cierro la boca dos veces con las dos M's. Sometimes. Los nativos. But sometimes he needs to spend the night. Pasar una noche se dice spend. To stay the night también puede decirse, pero se dice más spend, pasar la noche, como gastar dinero, spend money, spend the night. But sometimes he needs to spend the night in Omaha. He usually stays, otra vez, cuarta o quinta vez, usually stays in the Omaha Sheraton Hotel. The Omaha Sheraton Hotel. But sometimes he stays in the Holiday Inn. He prefers the Sheraton because it has a breakfast buffet. Un buffet, se dice aquí. Es una palabra francesa. En inglés lo pronunciamos un poco a lo francés. Buffet, no, buffet. So he usually stays in the Sheraton Hilton, but sometimes he stays at the Holiday Inn. He prefers the Sheraton because it has a breakfast buffet. Yes, he prefers the Sheraton. Now he stays. El verbo to stay, S-T-A-Y, 4 letters. is very important. To stay no es estar. Estar se asemeja a stay, pero stay es quedarse, permanecer, o bien alojarse, o hospedarse, to stay. Si vas a venir a Madrid, yo te pregunto, ¿y dónde te vas a alojar? Where are you going to stay? Where are you going to stay? Estar is to be. ¿Dónde vas a estar mañana a las 3? Where are you going to be? Pero to stay es quedarse más allá del tiempo estipulado, por ejemplo. Marta, mira, después de esta clase nos quedamos aquí 10 minutos más. After the class, we can stay here. Entonces, stay es quedar más allá del tiempo programado o estipulado. Pero también stay es quédate. Stay here. No te muevas. Stay still. Permanece quieto. Don't move. Stay still. Be still. Estate quieto, permanece quieto. Be still, stay still. Pero stay, repito, es alojarse. Siempre se dice así, stay. ¿Dónde vas a alojar? Where are you going to stay? All right, so he usually stays in the Omaha the Omaha Sheraton Hotel. But sometimes he stays in the Holiday Inn or at. In y at nos valen. Sometimes he stays at the Holiday Inn, sometimes he stays in the Holiday Inn. He prefers the Sheraton because it has a breakfast buffet. All right, Philip Johnson. How old is Philip Johnson? He's 39 years old. Is he married or single? He's married. Does he have any children? Yes, he does. Does he have 3 children? No, he doesn't. Does he have 1 child? No, he doesn't. Well, how many children does he have? He has 2 children. All right. And does he live in Kansas? No, he doesn't. Does he live in South Dakota? No, he doesn't. Well, where does he live? He lives in Nebraska. He lives in Lincoln, Nebraska. Is Lincoln the capital? Yes, it is. Is it a big city? No, it's not. Is it near Omaha? Yes, it's relatively near Omaha. Recuerda que near no lleva of ni to. Near Omaha. Near me. Near you. Near the wall. Near the mirror. Near the camera. My hand is near the camera. Yes. The red pencil is near the microphone. Now it's next to. Cuando está junto a, al lado, al ladito, next to. Cuando está cerca, hay proximidad, cercanía, near. It's near the microphone. Now it's next to the microphone. So, Philip Johnson lives in a nice. Does he live in a nice house? Yes, he does. O vive en una choza. Does he live in a shack? A shack. Yeah, shack is choza. Una chabola. No, he doesn't live in a shack. Does he live in a nice house? Yes, he does. He lives. Does he live? No es en does he live. Does he live? Do you live? Do I live in a nice house? Do you live in a nice house? Does Philip live? Does he live in a nice house? Cuando es la pregunta o interrogación, el interrogante, la S está en el verbo auxiliar si es tercera persona. Do you have $1 million? Does, ahí está la S, does he have? Ahora en la afirmación, yes, he has. Yes, he lives. Does he live in Nebraska? Yes, he does. He lives in Nebraska. Does he work in a bank? Yes, he does. He works. Solo en la afirmación vemos la S. He works in a bank. All right. Is he married? Yes, he is. How many children does he have? He has 2 children. Does he live in a nice house? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Does he live in Lincoln, Nebraska? Yes, he does. Is he a businessman? Yes, he is. Does he work in an office? Yes, he does. Does he work in an office in Omaha? No, he doesn't. Where's his office? It's in Lincoln. Is it on the outskirts? ¿Y eso qué es? Out, fuera, falda, o sea, las falderas, o sea, las afueras. Skirt es una falda de mujer. Escrito skirt, con K, skirt. Pero si dice outskirts, son las afueras de una ciudad. Un poco como en español se dice la falda norte o faldera, ¿no? La falda norte de una cordillera, por ejemplo, o de una sierra. The outskirts, the skirts. The outskirts. Does he live on the outskirts? Does he work on the outskirts? No, he doesn't. Where does he work? He works in the center of Lincoln. All right. Is he the general manager of the bank? Yes, he is. Does he go to work every day? Oh, yes, he does. Well, he doesn't go to work on Saturday. Usually, he doesn't go to work on Saturday, and he doesn't go to work on Sunday. He goes to work every working day. Okay. How does he go to work? He drives. He drives to work. He goes to work by car. What time does he go to work? He goes to work at 8:30. What time does he get to the bank? Excuse me? What time does he get to the bank? He gets to the bank at 9 o'clock. Does he park? Does he park in the street? No, he doesn't. Where does he park? He parks under the bank. Oh, under the bank? Is there a parking garage under the bank? Yes, there is. And what does he do in the mornings? Excuse me? What does Philip do in the mornings? Well, he works. Yeah, but more specifically, what does he do in the mornings? Well, he spends a lot of time talking on the telephone and reading financial reports. Yes, pasando números, leyendo informes financieros. All right, so he spends a lot of time talking on the phone, talking on the telephone. He spends a lot of time talking on the phone and reading financial reports. But does he work 3 hours in the morning? Well, he works from 9 o'clock to 12:30. So he works 3.5 hours in the morning. And then, what does he do? Excuse me? And then, después, and then at 12:30, what does he do? He goes to lunch. He goes to lunch. Yeah. Does he go home for lunch? Excuse me? Does he go home for lunch? No, he doesn't. Where does he have lunch? Does he have lunch? Does he have a sandwich in his office? No, he doesn't. He goes to lunch. Where does he go? He goes to a restaurant. Are there any restaurants in the center of Lincoln? Yes, there are a lot of good restaurants in the center of Lincoln. And he goes to lunch at 12:30. He has lunch con las comidas, con desayunar, comer, cenar, se dice have. En español se dice tomar el desayuno, tomar la comida, tomar la cena tal vez, y tomar una copa. Y en estos tomar siempre es have. To have a drink, to have lunch, to have dinner, to have breakfast. So he has lunch between 12:30 and 1:30. And what time does he go back to the bank? He goes back to the bank at 1:30, 1:30. And how many hours does he work in the afternoon? Well, he works for 4.5 hours. He works in the bank in the afternoon. In the afternoon, he works in the bank from 1:30 to 6. From 1:30 to 6 o'clock. From 1:30 to 6. And then what does he do? Well, then he goes home. Okay. What time does he get home? Excuse me? What time does he get home? Does he? Un nativo diría does he. What time does he get home? He gets home, exagero la S por motivo. He gets home at 6:30. Does he always go home after work? No. Sometimes he goes to his son's school. And why does he go to his son's school? Well, he goes to his son's school to watch his son play baseball and basketball. Oh. And in those cases, in aquellos casos, esos casos, what time does he get home? Well, when he goes to watch his son after work, he gets home at 8 o'clock, not at 6:30, not at 6:30, at 8 o'clock. Does he travel in his job? Yes, he does, sometimes. He doesn't travel very often, but sometimes. And where does he go? In the next class, I will tell you. We will review where he goes when he travels. See you tomorrow.